Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, pretty happy Laker fan because I just read somewhere that I believe it was Woj, but don't quote me on that. I was a little too excited, just saw it and turned on the camera. But it has been said that the Lakers are looking to match any offer sheets for both Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. Now, we already knew about Austin Reeves, but we weren't quite sure about Rui because if he gets some crazy contract, maybe the Lakers let him go. I don't think that's the best idea because I think he'll play up that contract at some point. One of the most efficient players we got. Obviously, one of our best threats to defend big players since he's turned into a rather good defender on our team. And when you got two-way guys like that who think score, you think about guys that you're trying to draft right now, maybe like a G.G. Jackson or Bryce Sensabaugh. You already have that piece more or less in Rui Hachimura if you value him properly and continue to develop him. And given the fact that he hasn't played a whole lot of ball in his career, but has been so good in the little bit of time that he's played, investing in him is the no-brainer, an absolute no-brainer. So for me, I'm super excited about the Black Samurai being a part of the LA Lakers going forward. And of course, Austin Reeves. You follow this channel, I'm an Austin Reeves fan, so it ain't even a thing. Not matching him would make me very unhappy there. So, congratulations to him on getting his new signature shoe as well. That's a big deal. And it's just good to see our guys growing into their own, man. Honestly. A guy like Rui Hachimura coming from Washington didn't get a whole lot of opportunities to play. And I just think it was to the detriment of the Washington Wizards. You can clearly see where they've gone wrong in a lot of situations, and now they're trying to do their rebuild. And that's one of the best young drafted players. He probably should still be a part of their rebuild right now. So that's just how it goes, man. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and we definitely appreciate Rui being a part of the Lakers no-touch group. Players that you can't touch, you ain't getting nowhere near those guys, no matter what. Our restricted free agent there is expected to be retained. So that is huge news, man. Huge news. I don't know what that means for everybody else. D'Angelo Russell and matching his figures, signing people like Chris Paul. I don't know what that means for them. But as far as what I want, keep my timeline youthful and keep LeBron James's backups on the team. So that's what Rui represents to me, as somebody who's going to be a big body that can fill in for LeBron James if for some reason he's not able to play on any night. Also, Vando on vacation with Isaiah Thomas. I saw some footage of them enjoying this offseason out on the water. Very happy to see it. It is said that the Lakers are expected to retain him as well. $4.7 million option that the Lakers have. I think that's a no-brainer. In fact, if I'm him, I probably want an extension on that, add some little cash to that. But nevertheless, given the way that we weren't able to really use him in his system, I don't know that he has in our system. I don't know that he necessarily has the leverage to ask for that right now. But between me and you, I would not hesitate to give him an extension that makes sense for me, because I don't want to have to deal with him leaving in free agency at a higher price, for which he will most definitely play up, barring any injuries this upcoming season. I don't want to trade him at the deadline, given the fact that he's expiring. So if you ask me, we should be trying to keep him whole and keep him on tab for as long as Rui and Austin are. That timeline should be kept together, in my opinion. Add Max Christie to that timeline as well. Also, I heard some people talk about Scottie Pippen, saying that they weren't sure if he should play in the pros, Scottie Pippen Jr., because he's a little undersized. That's not how I see it at all. I want us to call Scottie Pippen up and give him a regular rotation role on our team and see what it is he can do for us. I do not care about his limitations in size. I know he's a two-way player with excellent passing ability, and he has the right pedigree. So don't psych yourself out of a very good prospect there, trying not to overinflate him based on his name. He's a good prospect. He could play in NBA courts, and I think he's been tearing it up in the G League throughout, and I think it would be a big mistake thinking that he's not a pro, letting him leave the organization only to find him on a team like the Bulls or something like that, doing big things in the backup point guard role. So I don't want us to overthink this. We have good prospects in our G League situation that allow us affordable contracts to slip into our team so that we can have more of an opportunity to have a good team around a guy like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. When you go around looking for point guards that you can spend a lot of money on, sometimes you psych yourself out of opportunities to just move players up who have been in your organization working hard in the G League, who are ready to give us some opportunities at a good team. So that's what I want to say. I think Scottie Pippen should definitely be called up, and if for some reason he doesn't play well on our team, then we assess him from there. But I don't want us to take our prospects that we are grooming and then look at them, see other prospects in this draft that may be a little better than them, and psych ourselves out of wanting to keep the prospects that are working hard, that have already shown us that they're ready to do something for us. So that's what I think of Scottie Pippen. I do not want us to leave him in the G League without at least seeing if he could really give us something, because I've already seen enough to know that he can. So that's what I want people to understand. Is he a little undersized? Yeah, so is who we're after. A lot of the players that we want to bring in at the point guard position are not very tall, man. A guy like Fred VanVleet, not very tall. And guess where he started his career? In the G League, undrafted. So don't psych yourself out when you're going to look for guys who can do what it is you need them to do. Yeah, we can use our draft pick to draft a point guard. We have a lot of opportunities to get a guard in this draft, no question. But I do not want us to forget about these guys in the G League, particularly a guy like Scottie Pippen Jr., who is more than ready to provide us some production off the bench. And so that's what I want to say, man. You know, we're going to try to draft a guy like Amari Bailey maybe, or something like that. He's undersized, you know what I mean? It's like, it's no reason for us to psych ourselves out in regards to Scottie Pippen or any of the young players on this fantastic South Bay Laker team. We got guys that make our team fuller because they're really good and it ain't going to cost a whole lot. So that's what I want to say. That's very important to me. A guy like Cole Swider, call him up. See if he's healthy. He had that stress fracture situation last year that kind of derailed his rookie season, didn't allow him to get called up on the team. Remember that was the only reason why he wasn't called up. This is a very talented player who can shoot the ball and have chase down block ability, believe it or not. He chased down just like LeBron James in some situations, so I haven't forgotten that. I think Cole Swider is going to be one of the best shooters with a hand in his face when he fully develops, and I just really respect that we have a talented shooter there that maybe people have forgotten we have. I have not. I know of our prospects, so I just want us to make sure that we call him up. They give us a fuller team because they don't cost a dang thing. You're more likely to be able to fit LeBron and Anthony Davis in a championship team if you're looking to give those guys bigger roles. So that's what I want to say, man. It's important to me because I think we're about to psych ourselves out bringing in vets, a guy like Chris Paul. That's cool, but some of those minutes can go to Scottie Pippen at a much smaller fraction of the cost, and you could develop him into something that's more rather than bringing a guy who's going to decrease in value regardless of what it is you think he's going to give you. But the point is his value decreases, and that's less assets for your team. So I'm about building. I want to see our team get stuff that's costs like this and it can go like that. With intentions of knowing that they weren't struggling last year, it's simply that they were younger. Guy like D'Angelo Russell, yeah, that's what you want to do. You probably want to re-sign him, but there's a good chance he keeps on doing this because that's what he's been doing. So it's not the same thing for me. It's the same thing with Fred VanVleet. Yeah, you can get him at a low price, but the odds of him going like this are a little bit more increased based on the fact that he has been struggling. I'd rather take a chance with a young player who's still developing, who wasn't necessarily struggling for their standards, just not quite developed as of yet. Get them in on a rookie contract. That's even less of a risk in my mind. So that's where my head is, man. That's where I think all teams need to be doing. Development, player development, and not psyching yourself out because this is a fantastic draft and now you see better players that are available to you at that price point or at that age. That's a mistake. That's a big mistake. You got to keep using who you have because if you let them go, they're going to go to another team and kick your behind. That's how that goes. So I know better. I know that's what people are thinking too. Like, oh, why don't we need Scottie? Look at that guy. Let me get Kobe Buffett. No, you want both. You want to make sure you get as much young talent in your team as humanly possible that fits with one another so that you have a deep enough team to withstand injury because we're building fragile. We know that. Bron, AD, fragile. It is what it is. So we just got to be honest about how important it is to have affordable talent on our team. You want to get a guy like Bradley Beal, you're doing in the opposite direction. But if you were to go to the 3-star model, you know this is the best way to go just the same. Rookie contracts on high-level players that you are not psyching yourself out of using for reasons that don't have nothing to do with helping yourself. So that's what I want to say, man. That's important to me. That's very important. There's a bunch of point guards coming in, and we will have access to them. But we do have one waiting in the wing, ready to rock. And I want to see what he can do, and I'm not letting anybody tell me he can't play none of that crap because I watch y'all do that with Lonnie Walker. We see how that played out. I told y'all the same thing about Lonnie. I'm telling y'all the same thing about Scottie. Don't listen to these naysayers. I don't care what they're talking about. Listen to me. We want to play that player. Period. So that's what I got to say, man. The Lakers are on the offseason right now. It's not a whole lot to consider in regards to news other than the news that's already been reported on other teams. But that we are going to be keeping our restricted free agents. Hopefully the Lakers will honor that. Hopefully the field will not sign them to contracts that we can't afford to keep. But I'm happy. This is what I want. I want us to have some carryover from last year. I don't want a new team. I want the same team with specific upgrades. I need D'Lo upgraded. I need Beasley upgraded. Possibly Bamba upgraded. Even though I really like Bamba, I don't want him at $10 million. But as far as everything else, the guys that are core of the team, keep them. The core role players, keep them. And let's have them next year and the year after that too, so we can have this continuity. I'm thinking about Troy Brown as well. He shouldn't cost us anything. He should be dirt cheap, and he fits in our rotation. He's not getting any worse, and he's very, very young. You like role players. You don't need everybody to be a superstar. You don't need everybody to have upside. Sometimes you just need guys who can just come in and have length, defend, hit a three-point shot, jog around, and sit down, because that's the essence of allowing the superstar to have the big minutes that they have, that they ain't nobody complaining behind him who needs more. Troy doesn't need more. He's a perfect piece for what it is that we're doing, having a deep team, switchability, and all of that. I'm not in love with his game, but I am in love with the fact that he fits on our team, and I am in love with the fact that he's young and fits that timeline. And even if he doesn't get much better, he's still good enough to complement the team that we are. So I want us to re-sign the jogger, Troy Brown. I'll be frustrated with him when he jogs, but I don't have high expectations or temperaments for him to do more. And remember, if you bring in a guy with higher upside who needs the ball and he doesn't get it, that's a situation where you're getting less value from what it is that you want. Sometimes it's best to have mid-tier talent that don't need much, that won't ask for much, that won't cost much, but will always fit. It's the essence of having a really good team as well. So these are things that I'm thinking about, man. We don't want to find ourselves with unhappy players who can do too much, who will not get the opportunities. It's why guys like Thomas Bryant had to leave. It's why guys like Beasley, not Beasley, but God, what is his name? Dude from the Clippers ran around. He was not happy as well. Ended up going to Chicago trying to beat us. Beverly. That's why Patrick Beverly wasn't so happy when he left the Lakers, because the opportunities weren't always there. Lonnie Walker can do more. Wasn't used enough. Also unhappy player. So these are the type of things like, look, Troy ain't never going to be unhappy, because he ain't going to want to attempt too many shots. When he's on the floor, he's not doing too much more than defense and jogging. And so that is exactly what we need for a guy like Anthony Davis to get 1 billion shots, Bron James to get 1 billion shots, Rui, Austin, all of those guys get their shots without him being a deterrent to that while still complimenting them just the same. So that is a perfect piece. It's like having the right ingredient. That's what I think of Troy Brown for the roster that we have constructed. You add a player that can average 15 points and ask him to play the Troy Brown role, now he's taking shots away from those guys. Now he's asking the coach to allow him to do things, or not happy that the coach isn't allowing him to do things that extenuate his strengths. That's not what's best. Not when you really consider it. So that's what I want to say, man. So long as you have enough players to back those guys up that can do things, you will need your Troy Browns to just not do too much, but still be capable of doing a little more than what they often do. So that's what I want to say. You don't have to. It ain't gonna cost too much to keep them, and that's why you do. So yeah, man, that's what I want to say. I think, Chris Paul, adding Chris Paul, if we can get him on a vet minimum, that's a no-brainer. Of course, you bring him in. Like, you bring him in. But if he's asking for a real contract, dead that quick. Dead that absolutely quick. What else I gotta say, man? No Bradley Beal contract. I don't think Jeannie's already told y'all she don't want us going over the tax apron. So it ain't gonna be no Bradley Beal unless we're trading Anthony Davis to get him. I'm just telling y'all that right now. Per her orders, that will not be possible. So whatever the NBA is talking about, whatever the ESPN rather is talking about, unless we're trading Anthony Davis for that contract, there will be no chance that contract comes to this team. I'm just telling y'all right now, or anything like it for that matter. If it's not AD going out, it ain't gonna be nothing like that coming in. And so, yeah, man. If we can get a high-level player at the same rate that D'Angelo Russell is supposed to be playing at, somebody that fits us a bit better, it's a little more defensive, a lot more offensive, as it pertains to giving us what we need, that would be great. The upgrade from D'Lo means a lot to me, man, because I just don't want to go forward with somebody who possibly could decrease in value. And while I believe in his game, I am concerned. I'm just simply concerned. That's 2 playoffs in a row where he wasn't able to get on the floor despite being healthy enough to do so. Coach didn't want to play him. When they did play him, he didn't play well. That's just 2 playoffs in a row, man. And so for me, that's a red flag that this could be a recurring thing for him in the playoffs. And while I like regular season players that can hit 3-point shots and be precise, and his gift is special, it becomes a situation where if he can't be the 3rd best player on my team, then I don't necessarily need his piece. I can use my 17th pick for what it is I expect him to give me, pocket my $20 million or whatever it is he's going to be asking for. So that's where I stand on that. I am of a believer that he is going to be a buy low candidate for a lot of teams. Re-signing him may make sense because of that, but I still think he's a price a bit too high for what it is my risk level is for him. So that's my concern there. And hopefully guys are getting, I haven't heard nothing about people getting surgery for their feet, which is highly concerning for me. Bron ain't had no surgery. I ain't heard of AD having no surgery. We're already in the middle of June. If they don't need surgery, then there's no concern. But last I checked, those feet looked like they were giving them problems, and it looked like it wasn't going to heal anytime soon unless something was done. So if that's the case, I am concerned because that has not been done. So that's what I want to say, man. I want to get our team off to a good start. And if that requires guys getting surgery, then damn it, do it now. So that's what I want to say, man. Don't drag your feet on stuff that's going to have you missing the first couple months of the season. Our timeline is too short for us to be doing that. We need to have continuity. That's why I want to bring back all these players. It's because we need continuity. So if you ain't going to have continuity to start with your core, then what actually is your timeline if you're throwing the season away? Because that's exactly what you're doing if you get us off to a slow start. You're throwing the season away. So let's keep that in mind, man. Guys want us to invest in them as a core. They got to give us what it is that we need from them so that we can be the best team that we can be to start the season with this very, very short timeline. Bron going to retire, the end of this year, into next year? We don't have time to be throwing seasons away at all. If we're going to throw seasons away, blow this damn thing up and bring us a new core. No excuses no more. We just fell short in the Western Conference Finals and got swept. And it was because guys could not deliver in altitude. It was because their feet were not healthy. So that, my friends, if guys want to be Lakers, and I'm going to say this with warmth in my heart, if guys want to be Lakers, they got to sacrifice for that. It ain't as simple as putting on a uniform and being exalted. We're trying to win championships here. So if y'all ain't going to sacrifice, and that stands for the first guy, the top, the bottom guy, the coaching staff, everybody. If you're not going to sacrifice, it's not going to be up to standard for what it is that we expect as fans. So that's what I got to say, man. That is my Laker Talk chat video for the day. Or rather for this hour. Probably have something else to say if something else happens. And of course, I'll continue to give you basketball content as always. My name is BDL44. I'll take you off watching.